But so anyway, Zillow had negotiation tactics to get your home sold. And I thought this was, this had some good intel in it. But I think first and foremost, if you're not a really experienced negotiator, I think the most important thing in negotiating the best deal for yourself is hiring somebody that is. And that's where hiring the right agent comes in. A lot of people look at hiring a real estate agent and say, oh, who's going to give me the most exposure? Or, I like this person. They're really nice and sweet and they're special and I like them and they come over and bring me coffee and donuts and, but then they suck at negotiating, and I think the reality is that, it's the truth. I mean, it's just the reality of it. That, if you're going to hire somebody to sell your most expensive thing that you've ever owned, you want to make sure that they're a master negotiator. They've done hundreds of sales. They're a great negotiator. They can get you the best price. They're not going to get steamrolled by somebody. And I know that's what we have at our company, Robert. I think you can speak to that, the experience of our listing agents.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't want somebody that's going to come in there and give away your biggest financial asset. I mean, you want somebody that's going to fight for every penny or the timeline that you need or whatever you've decided that you need as a seller. You want that agent to fight for that for you. So that's something that you want to really, really make sure you get.
Something we say to people, because again, fees are negotiable and every company charges, different fees and offers different services. But one of the things I say to people is, we'll have customers come to us and say, oh, well, such and such real estate company will do it for X%, which is less than what you are. And I said, well, that's interesting. So let's think about this for a second. You're selling $300,000 home, most expensive thing you own, right? Yes. Do you really have faith that they're going to be a great negotiator on your sale price if they can't even negotiate their own commission? You're hiring somebody for the most expensive thing you've ever owned, and they can't negotiate. That's a problem.
You just beat them up on that, how they're getting paid.
Right. Yeah. So what's going to happen when the other agent and the buyer start beating them up? They're going to fold them too. So
we have a new agent on our team, and they asked me that same question this week. And she's new to the listing side. She had done listings before, and she said, well, in this market, if a client asked for this, would you give it to him as far as commission? And I answered her the same exact way that you did, and it made total sense to her.
And the reality is that that's exactly the truth. I mean, you're hiring somebody to be your advocate. You're hiring somebody to negotiate in your interest, to have these conversations, to stand up for you, to provide comps, to be your advocate in a sense. And if they can't negotiate with you their fees, how much of your equity are they going to give away to?
But at the same time, the agents that we have on our team are so experienced, and part of it goes down to how much business that we do. I know that we will make it up to you tenfold on the other side.
Yeah, our listing agents, I think, one thing to understand, the listing agent position for us is a promotion within our company. So all of our listing agents are extremely experienced. They started out in entry-level positions and then grew into being listing agents at our company, and so they've all sold hundreds of homes. They've worked through all the different they've worked through every negotiation challenge.
They all came as primary buyer agents. They know how buyers think. They know how buyers agents think. A lot of them have had listing experience on the outside before they were buyer agents on our team. I mean, these are people with a lot of experience that know how to negotiate by the time they're listing agents on our team.
Yeah, and I think that really does help differentiate. And it's not just us. There's obviously lots of other great listing agents out there that follow the same mantra. But I would strongly caution you that if you're out there picking an agent based on the fee that they charge, you're comparing apples to oranges, because you get what you pay for, and not every company offers every service. Are they doing a 3D virtual tour? Are they doing drone photos? Are they doing a video? Are they doing exposure on the radio for your home? Are they doing Facebook retargeting of the people that visit your house? Are they doing all these different types of marketing tactics? Are they paying for the enhanced version of Realtor.com and Zillow? And if the answer is no to a lot of them, guess what? You're paying them less because you're getting less exposure for your home, and which means likely a lower price, less eyes on your house, less attention, less marketing, all those things. And again, so the best negotiation tactic is making sure to hire an agent that is an expert negotiator and is going to get the most eyes on your house. So a couple other strategies from an article that we saw: giving some perks. Closing costs, I think, are a common tactic right now. A lot of people want closing cost assistance, and as a seller, that doesn't mean that you have to lower your price. You can bump the price up to cover closing costs as long as the appraisal will support it.
Yeah, and I see that all the time, and I even do my best to have that conversation with buyers up front. If they're going to need closing costs or ask for closing costs, expect to pay full price for the house, or you may even have to go over a little bit to get those costs.
I think sellers countering with the listing price You know, so somebody gives you a low blow offer, come back and counter at the listing price, or maybe show some slight flexibility to say, look, I'll work with you, but I'm firm. My price is fair. The market is telling us, you know, 98% in my neighborhood, and you offer me 92%. You know, you're not going to, you know, you're not going to steamroll over me. You know, so there are ways to kind of keep someone engaged. So one thing I always tell people is, you know, I strongly believe that sellers get the best price and the best terms when it's a bidding war. And the greater the chance you have of a bidding war is, the longer, you know, you can keep that initial offer engaged. So, especially if additional offers don't show up. So, for example, if someone comes in and lowballs you, counter them. Don't just decline them. Counter them to keep the offer alive, because then that gives us the ability to tell people that we have another offer. That makes people want it more, and that makes people offer more strongly because they're afraid. People are more afraid of losing than they are excited about winning when it comes to home offers. So you keep somebody on the hook for a couple of extra days with an offer that, you know, probably isn't going to get anywhere, but it allows you to tell all the other people to keep looking at it and the rest of the market that you have an offer. Even if the offer, we're not telling people what the offer is, we just say we have an offer, you know, and that makes it more desirable. So, you know, I think that tactic is something that works really effectively too, that you know, that helps us sometimes generate interest in a house that wouldn't otherwise be there. I think also, you know, if it does drag on, my experience, you got about a week to 10 days to kind of put a deal together. You know, I've seen longer. I mean, I've seen stuff. Robert, you had one recently that lasted, you know, like 4 months or something.
Well, somebody on our team said the other day they had one that was 55 days. I mean, that's a long time to emotionally be invested in a negotiation.
I had a several $1 million house in Tarpon Springs about a year ago.
I remember that.
The negotiation went on for 6 months.
Wow, it's like a short sale almost.
And it was over.
Well, I think the negotiation on that one went all the way to the closing.
Right.
It was, yeah. It was. The buyer just kept asking for stuff. I want this piece of furniture. I want this light fixture. I want this. I want that. And sellers, we did an incredible job of keeping it all moving forward. And interestingly enough, after closing, the buyer even emailed wanting to ask for stuff. Like, it was like, no,
amazing.
like, no, like, so.
I guess the house itself wasn't good enough.
Right, apparently, they thought that their right to more things
Right.
just continued on forever. It was like, you know, but nonetheless, you know, normal situations, normal, you know, regular, you know, median-priced homes, you're talking about 7 to 10 days. So as a seller, know that that's how long you have to keep someone emotionally engaged. After that, they start to lose interest or find something else. That's not to say it can't happen sooner, but that's probably about the average. So if you haven't got a deal to the table by then, get your bottom line. You know, come back to them and say, look, this is the best I'm willing to do, and cut to the chase, and see if the deal can happen from there. I think another really great negotiation tactic for a seller, and I haven't seen it done. We talk a lot about appealing to buyers, right? You know, and I saw this done not long ago. I was at a mastermind with some friends. I thought this was genius, but so often we say things like, oh, buyers need to have an offer letter, they need to have a video, they need to have all these things to get the seller to accept their offer, right? Well, so we're appealing to the seller's emotional side of things, right? Instead of looking at the dollars. Very rarely do we do the reverse of that. You know, very rarely do we come back with a video from the sellers about why they need the extra $3,000 to pay for their kids this or their grandkid, or to buy this or buy that. And I think that's a strategy that you know, could be employed more often, and something, you know, we can probably implement on a bigger scale. But for every buyer, it's not always about dollar and cents. Just like how we position it to the seller, and we get offers accepted oftentimes when we're not the highest offer, but because we put a package together with the right information where the seller liked our buyer better than the other buyers. I think the same thing can happen with sellers too. You just got to kind of flip the script. Have the seller record a video about all the things they love about the house. Have a seller talk about the house that they need to buy. They need this money for this, or they need it for their grandkids, or whatever it is. I think you could appeal to the emotional side of the buyer too, in some instances.
Absolutely.
And so it's a negotiation tactic that I think doesn't get used enough in our industry. So often we're worried about building up the buyer. I think we could turn around and build up the seller too, emotionally, so to speak. So hopefully those negotiation tactics will help you. And you know, if you're thinking about selling your home, check us out at theduncanduo.com. You can check out Sold or We Buy It. Apply for an immediate cash offer on your home, or our guaranteed sale program. Again, that is soldorwebuyit.com.